It's that time again. From their make-believe studios in North Carolina and South Jersey, it's the Sal and Rich Show. Wait, what the hell was that noise? Joe, when we said come on down, we didn't mean it literally. Go back to sleep. Okay, sorry folks, it's time for the show. What kind of crap are you two shoveling this week?
Oh, what a show it's going to be. Who was that? Joe who? Was it Joe Darcy? No. It's the guy that lives in Washington.
Oh, man,
what a show we have. What are we going to discuss this week? We're going to talk about Mr. Softee Gate. Of course, we will have shit that drives Sal and Rich crazy. We're going to do a movie review on Barbie and Oppenheimer. And then Sal is going to surprise us with the best commercial of the year. And then we'll have a little tribute song from the band Robbie Robertson.
Yeah, I'm looking forward
there we
to that.
go. What a day it's going to be.
Good lineup. Good lineup. So,
oh, it's so good. So good.
Tell me, did you have a good night's sleep last night?
No. The battery
story.
went on the alarm. The battery went on the alarm last night.
Oh, my God.
3 o'clock in the morning. And here's Rich climbing up on a ladder. Of course, with the weight, you're going to fall. You're going to fall. No, I'm not going to fall. Changing batteries at 3 o'clock. And at this age,
chirping, right?
Nobody goes back to... It was chirping, yes. It was chirping.
Oh, man.
And I thought I was dreaming with the chirp. And all of a sudden I realized this chirp's coming from my house. I called the alarm company. You know, of course, people only break in and houses only burn down between the hours of 8 and 5. So they were no help. So here we are in the middle of the night replacing batteries, finding the chirp. I think there was a TV show like that, right? Modern Family, was it? They couldn't find the chirp.
Exactly.
We found it pretty quick. But
oh, God, that's funny.
That was my night.
Yeah. Well, it happens to all of us. That happened to me when we lived in Wilmington. In the middle of the night, I'm like, this brand new home. I'm like, what the hell is that? And then, you finally realize that the battery needs to be replaced. So it's frustrating. So before we get into the Mr. Softee thing, I want to talk about Maui. Man, were you ever in Maui?
Oh, yes. In fact, in our family room, I don't know if you noticed it, there's a beach picture. It was an artist's rendering of the center of Lahaina, of all places. Lahaina.
Yeah.
And those people are being beat up.
Oh, it's terrible what's happened. You look at the devastation and the big controversy now, which I was watching the news this morning, they were talking about, how come they didn't get an alert? They didn't get any notice on their phones. There was no sirens that went off. And, I'm sure that there will be an investigation going into that. But, when you think about how quick 80-mile-an-hour winds, they said the fire was going a mile a minute. I mean, I got to suspect that all the infrastructure was destroyed. That's why they didn't get any alerts. It's my guess.
Well, the cell phone towers were down. They said most people have cell phones now. And I guess it just went quick. And it's Hawaii sure has taken a beating in the last couple of years. They had a hurricane, about 8-10 years ago?
Yeah.
And back in the 40s with the World War II thing and Pearl Harbor. God. So my brother-in-law lives in Hawaii.
Oh, really?
And he's on the same island as, I guess it's Honolulu. I don't know what that
big
island is.
Yeah.
The big island, yes.
Yeah. Wow.
And he's been calling my wife up just about every day, so concerned about it. And it's affecting the entire island and the entire state, and people are very concerned about it. And
it's going to take a long time to recover.
It's tragic. These people have lost their cars, their houses, all their possessions, savings. I mean, I certainly hope they had insurance and they have some type of record of it in some cloud someplace on Microsoft, Apple, whatever.
Yeah, I know.
Which is probably a good thing to have. I mean, I have it, but hopefully they do too.
Yeah, I saw the pictures, and it is apocalyptic looking. I mean, you see the cars; everybody's trying to get out of the way, and then they had to abandon their cars, and they're in the ocean trying to save their lives. And the other thing that was talked about on the news is that they're discovering bodies everywhere. Some of them only for dental records. Will they be able to discover who that person is if they can find the dental records?
They're still missing 1,000 people.
Yeah,
they can't find.
Right. And the death toll's over 100, and it's probably going to skyrocket to at least 1,000. I mean, I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, but, easily.
It's it's crazy. But I just had to mention that because it's all over the news, and it's a tragedy. Everybody keep them in your thoughts and prayers, so that they can recover. I know that there's GoFundMe things set up, Red Cross, if you want to donate. I think as little as you can donate as little as $10. Help these people recover.
CNN has it. Fox News has it. I think CBS had it too this morning.
Yeah. So let's get into what we discovered about Mr. Softee Gate. We all know this theme song, this jingle. It's great. I love it.
Part of our childhood.
Yeah.
And it still is part of it.
It still is, yeah. So I was made aware of this.
Is this the song that was written by Robbie Robertson or no?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, not
checking.
Yeah, the band could probably do a better rendition than this one, that's for sure. So I was made aware of this story by my sister. Apparently, in
wait a minute, is this the theme song when you walk into the bedroom? Patty plays this? No.
Oh God, you're bad. No comment. Oh man, you caught me off guard on that one. You bastard. Oh man. Okay. So anyway, I was made aware of this story by my sister. Apparently in Blackwood, New Jersey, part of Gloucester Township. The kids, they hear that theme song and they're running out getting their ice cream, and all of a sudden, a few days passes by and there's no more truck. Everybody's wondering, where the hell is Mr. Softee? Well, it turned out that one individual had called the company and said he didn't like the fact that they were playing the music too loud and really didn't want them to be in the neighborhood. And are you kidding me? This is unbelievable. So, of course, the company abided by the request, which really surprised me. And there was an uproar. People were taking to Facebook. One quote I have here is, "Now our Mr. Softee has disappeared and has been told not to come back around to our area because of one neighbor calling to complain about the music." I mean, if it was 11 o'clock at night, playing the music, I get it. So, but it's not. It's usually in the afternoon, especially in the summertime. It's always in the afternoon, late afternoon. So I don't know how many times you went to get Mr. Softee. I was in line all the time.
It was what, a dime, something like that, back
something
in the
like that.
60s, whatever it was.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm pro Mr. Softee. Okay. I know a lot of guys who worked their way through college driving a Mr. Softee truck.
Yeah.
It comes around here. It's for 5 minutes. That's all.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's not like
kids love it today, like we liked it.
Yeah.
I know they show up at a lot of grammar school and high school functions. I'm not sure who pays for it. If the school pays for it, the kids pay for it. Mr. Softee gives them a break. I have no idea, but they are there.
Yeah.
At the games right here in Haddon Township, I know they show up there occasionally. It's Mr. Softee.
Right.
There is no more Good Humor, Jack and Jill.
Yeah.
What were the other ones? I don't even know.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
Jolly Roger, something like that.
Right. Yeah.
So Mr. Softee, these people need to get over this. There's more important things than having Mr. Softee music. Let's worry about crime, things like that. Right?
In the neighborhood. Absolutely.
You got people roaming the streets, breaking in the cars, and they're worried about Mr. Softee.
Get your priorities straight.
Get over it.
Get over it.
Yes, exactly.
So our here at the Sal and Rich show, we spare no expense. So we put together our crack eyewitness investigative team to find out, what is going on. We did some forensic analysis on the internet, and we were able to determine who this person is that hates the jingle. And you know what we did? We embarrassed the shit out of them. We built, like in colonial days, we built a stockade right downtown Blackwood. We put this guy in the stockade, and we, quote, waterboarded him, not with water, but with Mr. Softee, and just poured it all over him until he said enough. And of course, while we were doing that, we're playing the jingle. Okay, this is kind of what they did to Noriega, if you remember that back in the day when they captured him in Nicaragua. And so after several hours of this torture, the guy admitted that the reason he hates the jingle is because when he was a young fat kid, he'd run every day up to the Mr. Softee truck, and all his friends would make fun of him, and he got tired of that, and he felt guilty. So he had this psychotic thing that just got to him, and every time he heard the jingle, he always thought about being a fat kid and being chased around, or chasing the truck rather. So we found out this guy, apologized, found out who he is, and we also got him a psychiatrist so that he won't be tortured by his early days as a fat boy. It also sounds very familiar. Me. So we got to the bottom of that. We got this guy some therapy, and that's the end of that story. And you're absolutely right. It's almost like Mr. Softee is like an American treasure. It really is. And, oh, by the way, we looked into this because you pulled up the Wikipedia. Mr. Softee's in 24 states, which really surprised me. I thought that was more like a Delaware County kind of thing. Philly, New Jersey, Delaware. But apparently it's a much bigger enterprise. So good for them.
And I think the song was written, 100 years ago, 90 years ago or something like that. And it's copyrighted.
Yeah, crazy. So anyway.
Yeah.
Let's get on to...
Let's give it up on the complaints for Mr. Softee. Let's worry about something. First of all, the fact that the press even picked up on this. Must be a slow news day.
That's what I said. It must have been a real slow news day. It was a local rag. So anyway.
Yeah.
Now, let's get on to a more important thing.
Shit that drives Sal and Rich crazy.
We haven't done this in a while. And... you were the one who brought this topic up, and I totally agree. You want to take it?
The
pumpkin.
What was it?
The pumpkin spice.
Oh, you know what? It's interesting that we talk about that because I had Flash Phelps on this morning. 60s on 6 or whatever it's called on Sirius XM.
Yeah.
They were complaining about it.
Were they really?
Did you send him this? Did you send him this? Or
Is
what?
he stealing our shit too?
He's stealing our shit. It's Flash Phelps. I expect Sebastian and Carell will have it on this week.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yes, Pete.
Sure.
You know what? Shit that I got a lot of shit that drives me crazy right now. The pumpkin spice. Folks, it's 100 degrees outside. It does not feel like fall. And all this crap they put in coffee and ice cream, it's not pumpkin. It doesn't taste like pumpkin, right?
Yes.
Have you ever had pumpkin? Yes. Okay, eat pumpkin pie without a spice in it. It doesn't taste like pumpkin pie.
Right, yeah. And I love
that drives me crazy.
I love pumpkin pie. I love Thanksgiving and the whole fall thing. But, when you start, I don't know about you, but if you have a Hobby Lobby up your way, Patty goes to the Hobby Lobby all the time. In July, they had pumpkins out already. I'm like, and a portion of the store had some decorations for Christmas. So, I mean, we're not even halfway through the summer, and they're starting this stuff. It's way
Home
over
Depot
the top.
has had the pumpkin stuff out in July.
Yeah, and Halloween stuff. Yeah, it's crazy. Come on.
Yep.
Let's not rush these things. It really is unfortunate. And I love pumpkin spice lattes. I'll have them every once in a while, but that's the kind of thing you think of when it's cold or chilly. And that's you associate that.
Here's the
fall.
challenge. Here's your challenge. Have Patty make a pumpkin pie this week, but don't put any of those spices in there.
Oh, it tastes
Just
like
use
crap.
pumpkin. It tastes like crap. It's not pumpkin pie. It's not pumpkin. It's cloves and
cinnamon,
whatever allspice or something. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, pumpkin is by itself is really bland. So
yes, it is.
But anyway, I thought that was funny when you sent me that text. And there's a friend of mine on Facebook that used to work with me, and she had a picture this morning. Her cup, pumpkin spice latte on the cup, and she's having her first cup, and she says, "Too soon?" And I say, "Absolutely too soon." But
absolutely.
Everybody's trying to rush the fall in because it's so damn hot. I don't know about you, brother, but we're hitting 105 today on the heat index. So, It's brutal.
It's supposed to be very hot here. Tornado warnings for this evening.
Oh, really? Oh, jeez.
That's another thing. You grew up in South Jersey.
Yep.
When the hell did we ever have a tornado warning when we were growing up?
Never.
Never.
No. I know.
Said there's a good chance of it.
Wow.
But
well,
anybody who's listening to this podcast today, we are not the weather forecasters. This is what we heard.
that's right.
So don't hide in the house worried about what's. Check your own weather channel.
Yeah.
Whatever you listen to.
Check your weather
We're
app.
not an authority on this.
Right.
We are an authority on pumpkin spice and stuff like that, but not on the weather.
Absolutely. Yes. Okay. So the next thing I wanted to get into is our movie review. So hold on. Okay, la-di-da-di-da. I'm going to turn that down. Oh, man.
Jeez.
Barbie has grossed over $1 billion. If you would have told me that was possible, I would have taken a bet on the other side. When I saw all the advertisements that were going out during the summer before the release, I said to Patty, I said, this is going to be a dud. It just, how many times you've seen so many advertisements and eventually the movie is just not that good. But apparently a lot of people want to go see it. And
Did you see it?
I did see it. I have to hand my man card in. I went to see it because so many other people went to see it. I wanted to see if, if it was, plus the reviews were pretty decent. So it turns out that
So you'll drink pumpkin spice in August
and watch Barbie
because everybody else is drinking it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
So they saw Barbie, so you got to go see Barbie. Okay,
right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, actually, let's talk about the division in our households between the two of us. It turns out that the women, Jan and Patty, didn't think it was that great of a movie, and Rich and I thought it was pretty funny. So, adult humor.
I thought it had a message.
Yeah.
It had a message.
It did.
Okay. Women empowerment, beautiful thing. That's all I could say. It went on to be maybe a half hour too long.
Yeah, it was a little too long.
A little too long.
But
it was a history lesson because I had no idea all those Barbie dolls existed.
Yeah, me either. Yeah. Like there was one that was a pregnant one, Midge. I didn't know there was a pregnant Barbie doll.
That was called Knocked Up Midge. Was that the Knocked Up Midge, right?
Knocked Up Midge, yeah. Yeah.
Knocked Up Midge, and she had, and they didn't have, you didn't see the little doll they had. His name was Jack. Jack knocked her up.
Did he really?
He took off.
He left her.
Left Midge all by herself.
Oh my God. Yeah. And then there was an Alan. I guess Alan was canceled because I guess he didn't sell, and they have him in the movie and they make fun of him. I mean, I know my sisters had Barbie dolls and they did that whole thing, and my daughter, I could not remember this, but my daughter told me the other day she had a bunch of them, and I didn't remember that, but she had the case and all that stuff. But to your point, is that there was a message here that, and I think Patty and Jan thought it went a little too over the top where it demeaned men, because the Kens in the first part of the show, they look really stupid, right? It's Barbie's world. Everything's perfect. It's a woman's world. And then the Kens rebel. I'm not giving away too much of the story. Most people have seen it. If you haven't seen it.
Not at all.
Yeah. So, but then at the end, it all comes together and they realize that both sides, both men and women, need to be respected. So I thought it was a good message, especially for young girls. And I thought I thought the humor was hysterical. I laughed my butt off because we're looking around the audience and most of the kids didn't get the humor. It was adult humor. And that's what I enjoyed the most. It was funny. So
I believe you're right. The message was Mattel and Warner Brothers are not making enough money. So let's put out a crappy movie.
Yeah.
And we'll have people coming in droves. We'll make $1 billion on it.
Yeah. But I want to.
And by the way, caveat here: the only reason I saw the movie is because Sal said we're going to talk about this on the podcast. So Rich bypassed Oppenheimer, all these other movies, and I saw Barbie.
Did you see Mission Impossible?
I did see Mission Impossible. That was a great movie.
Yeah, that was a good one. Good summertime movie.
Oppenheimer's on the list for this week.
Well, we're going to talk about Oppenheimer in a minute. I saw that yesterday. But I want to get to a story that I saw online about the, I won't call them the Commanders, they're the Washington Redskins. And this goes to the heart of the Barbie movie. There was an anchor, a radio anchor in the Washington, D.C. area. His name is Don Geronimo. I used to do a two-man show for many, many years. It was Mike and Don show. Anyway, he's doing sports now, and he was at the Redskins facility. And in the middle of the show, after spotting this woman who works for WUSA Channel 9 in D.C., he goes, "Hey, look, Barbie here. Hi, Barbie girl." And later he kept referring to her, that chick. And I'm guessing she's a cheerleader. So, to the point from the movie is this, tendency to demean women. And so this guy got fired for those comments. Now, I think he meant it in jest. I don't think he meant it in a mean way. But we live in a cancel culture world these days. And so, he took a big hit for that comment. But he should have been smarter about that. And I think that goes to...
He should have been.
Yeah, that goes to the theme of the movie Barbie, and so I thought this was kind of relevant story that popped up on my radar screen. So now to Oppenheimer. Okay, I went to see this yesterday, and for a guy who's approaching 70 to sit through a 3-hour movie without going to the bathroom, that's a challenge. But in my opinion, this movie is going to get a bunch of nominations. It is an incredible story. I didn't know much about Oppenheimer personally. I knew he was the father of the atomic bomb. I knew a lot about what happened out in Los Alamos. But there's a lot to this story. Apparently, the movie is based on a book. And I can't remember the name of the title of the book. But the actors in this, the writing is incredible. So I'll give you the list of who's in this. The lead actor is a gentleman named Cillian Murphy. This guy's going to get Best Actor nominated. I think there'll be at least 7 nominations for this. I'm going to go out on a limb, and we'll talk about this next fall, and next spring, rather. So he should get Best Actor. Emily Blunt plays his wife. She's great in this. She'll probably get Best Actress. Robert Downey Jr., incredible performance. He'll get Best Supporting Actor nominee, along with Matt Damon, who plays the general who got behind Oppenheimer to create the bomb. I think it's going to be Best Movie nominated, Best Director, Best Photography. And here's the other thing. There's a bunch of cameos. Kenneth Branagh, Casey Affleck. I'm only giving you a few. Gary Oldman plays Truman. You would not even recognize him. This guy he's a master of disguise, Gary Oldman. Every time you see him, he always does something like that. I didn't recognize him at all until I looked it up. So I would recommend you go see this. It is really well done. And you watch in this movie, you see the torture that this gentleman goes through because he realizes he's changing the way the world will be once this bomb is released, which we all know is true. We live in a different world because of it. And there's a lot of moral discussion about, should we drop the bomb? Shouldn't we? They were trying to drop it on the Germans. And of course, the Germans gave in and submitted to us. And then eventually the Japanese would not surrender. And so they were forced to do what they did with Nagasaki and Hiroshima. So anyway, it's a really, really good story. I highly recommend it. So that's what's on your list for next week.
Going to see it.
Yeah, go see it.
This evening, maybe. But I honestly believe in my heart of hearts, okay, that you really don't think this is going to be an Academy Award winner.
I do.
Because you lost your man card at the door. You would know. You think it's going to be Barbie. Right? It's going to be Margot, Robbie, and the guy with the white hair. What was it? The guy with the white hair.
Oh,
you really do believe that, right?
Gosling, right? Ryan Gosling. Yeah, you're right. I did.
Ryan
I didn't want to say it, but
yes.
I'll have to admit that.
You think it's going to be Barbie?
It would not surprise me if they get a nomination. It's a crazy world. They can nominate 10 movies now.
I know.
So, and it's hard to
look at the money.
Yeah, right. The money. It's hard to ignore $1 billion movie, right? So, Anyway,
money talks.
Money talks, and what do they say? Bullshit walks. So,
that's a good term.
One thing I want to tell folks is that because I noticed that a lot of people are listening to us on Spotify. You can also go to YouTube and it's at Sal and Rich Show, and you'll be able to see the video of this because every show is a video. If you get on your computer, you can also see the video on Spotify. I don't know why it doesn't show up on your phone. Whenever you click it on your phone, you just hear the audio. And the reason I raised this is because we are going to show you what I think is one of the best commercials of the year. Okay. And if you don't watch this, you won't get it. But I think it's absolutely hysterical.
All the boys are calling crazy girl. I hope she sings this tonight. I know. Hey, Dad, whoever. We need gum.
I'm on it. Oh, honey? Here's some money.
What do we got here?
Hello. I'm her daddy.
I'm her daddy.
I'm her daddy. Isn't that great? I told you it's a funny one. There's like 4 or 5.
So that falls into the same bucket as Cologuard.
Yeah. Oh, we got to watch and see if Pete and Sebastian steal us on this one too, right? You know, but there are 4 more of these, and we'll save them. We'll play them. You know, every podcast we'll show. Every one of them's different, and it's the company is AmeriQuest. I think they're a mortgage company. So
yeah,
and the message is
still. This is a reason to watch this on YouTube.
Right.
Because that was the funniest commercial I've ever seen. It was only a minute, but it was better than Barbie.
Yeah. That's right. Oh my God, I love it. All right, so that's the best commercial of the year, and let's see. We're going to go, and I think we're going to wrap this thing up because we're getting close to a half an hour. We try to respect everybody's time. Want to talk about Robbie Robertson?
Yes, the band.
Yeah. What a shame.
Musician, 80 years old. You know what? It shocks me. I mean, I know we're older than we think we are, but when you hear a guy like him, you still remember him from the 70s. All these singers that are passing away and actors, and they're 80 years old.
I know.
He was 80 years old. Gosh.
And you know, for a rock and roll star, that's living a long life. And it's amazing to me that Mick Jagger's still alive. All the drugs that guy's
still going. Mick Jagger, Paul McCartney.
Yeah, he's 82. He's going on tour.
He's in his 70s, right? Late 70s, I think.
He's 80. Paul McCartney's 81. Yeah.
It's amazing. What do you think about it? Mike Lowe from the Beach Boys, 83, 84 years old.
Yeah. These guys are, they got a lot of energy.
He's still on tour. He's traveling the country right now, these guys. So this is great. And this is the same.
The one thing I wanted to mention is I read this book called Testimony. Robbie Roberts wrote this. It was basically a biography. And it gets into how the band was formed, all the different players in the group. They started off with a guy named Ronnie Hawkins. If you're familiar with anything in rock and roll, Ronnie Hawkins was a big star in the 50s. They were a backup to Bob Dylan. Mm-hmm. I saw Bob Dylan in the band at the Spectrum, and I think it was 1973. They were doing a tour together, and that was a hell of a show. And at the time, I wasn't a big Bob Dylan fan. I'm a bigger fan today. I've gotten to appreciate some of his music. Blood on the Tracks was a great album from 1975. If you get a chance, listen to that. There's some great songs on that album. But anyway, to see the band and Bob Dylan, because the band was his backup for a long time before they became the band. And their big album came out, I think it was 69, which was titled The Band, and it had this song on it that we're going to play. So rest in peace, my friend, Robbie Robertson. And Rich, I will see you next time. It's a great song.
Yeah.
When I get over this mountain, you know where I wanna go. Straight down the Mississippi River to the Gulf of Mexico. To Lake Charles, Louisiana, little Bessie girl I once knew. She told me just to come on by if there's anything that she could do. Up on Cripple Creek, she sends me if I spring a leak. She mends me, I don't have to speak. She defends me, a drunkard stream if I ever did see one. Good luck had just stung me. To the racetrack I did go. She bet on one horse to win, and I bet on another to show. Odds were in my favor. I had 'em 5-1. And that nag to win came around the track. Sure enough, we had won. Up on Cripple Creek, she sends me if I spring a leak. She mends me, I don't have to speak. She defends me, a drunkard's dream if I ever did see one. I took up all of my winnings and I gave my little Bessie half. She tore it up and threw it in my face just for a laugh. Now there's one thing in the whole wide world I sure would like to see. That's when that little love of mine dips a donut in my teeth. Up on Cripple Creek, she sends me if I spring a leak. She mends me, I don't have to speak. She defends me, a drunkard's dream if I ever did see one. Me and my mate were back at the shack. We had Spike Jones on the box. She said I can't take the way he sang, but I love to hear him